Hello everyone, welcome back. Good evening, one sec. So I was supposed to start going live about 3 minutes ago, and I decided to stand up for the stream because my wonderful desk can let you either lower or rise, right? So I wanted to stand up. I've been sitting down all day, so I also feel a bit more energetic when I stand up. It's good. But when I press the button to make it stand up, the table doesn't stop, it just keeps going. One of the cables got pulled and it disconnected one of the monitors. It's just the monitors, it's just the display. But I had to go back down there in this jungle of cables to kind of reconnect everything. But here we are, we're back. I got hit with a lot of stop losses today, no big deal. I entered a position to Litecoin just arbitrarily. I thought it was going to bounce. I entered at a really bad position. It immediately hit me with a stop loss, so big L there, sure. We also had a trade open in Hyperliquid, which hit a stop loss as well. That was in break-even territory, which would have been at an actual stop level if I hadn't done the break-even version. So I didn't lose anything there. And I had a stop loss in positive territory in Bitcoin. So that basically neutralizes whatever I lost on Litecoin. So I'm really neutral. Nothing really happened, which is a good thing. Odd though. I don't know. Crazy volatility we're seeing in the markets today. So we'll be discussing as to why that is. A lot of stuff going on in Iran still. Tensions just keep escalating. We'll also be talking about other stuff that Trump has stated about tariffs, about something else he talked about. We'll be discussing all that in tonight's stream, as well as other Bitcoin and crypto related news, and Monero. Monero's still making all-time highs, which is wonderful. I'm sure John McAfee would be proud if he was alive today. He is alive in spirit. So we have Bitcoin currently at 91,300, we can call that. What do we expect from here? Crazy volatility. I don't know. Aren't we even getting economic data tomorrow? It's going to be a crazy week, man. Yeah, we're getting core inflation, CPI data tomorrow, then PPI Wednesday. So that's already going to bring some guaranteed volatility. We might even be striking Iran soon. We are issuing evacuation orders. We're just showing off some military over there. I don't know if it's just a scare tactic or if we're actually going to be doing something about it. Only Trump knows at this point. We'll be discussing all that later on. So it's going to be an interesting week this week. And we were kind of in anticipation of this. What I'm looking for is a drop in the markets. I'm expecting a drop, and if we do get one, I will be buying that drop because I'm expecting us to recover from it. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. Pivot levels are telling us lower high, right? If we do rise, it'll be to 94,000. And then I'm expecting a trend to change soon, unless we're able to hold whatever support level we have at 89,000 very well to bounce up higher, of course. I don't know for sure. I think I'm going to stay out of it this time, because I am basically out of my positions here. Oh, I have a Zcash short position opened. We'll talk about that. We also have Ethereum at 3,100 currently. Same deal. You're expecting a support level, very good one at 3,015. Resistance, you're looking at this making a lower high. Potential early signs of a trend change, right? 3,268 as a resistance. Before we start going below 3,000 once again, that would confirm a trend change toward the downside. So I don't know. Does not look good for a lot of these. Solana's been holding pretty strong. $138.77. Invalidates its uptrend at 131. You got a support at 133. Good area of accumulation over here if you're willing to risk that. I think I probably would. If Solana does come down here, 131 to 133, I probably consider an entry on that. Monero This is the elephant in the room. Making huge rises, still making new all-time highs. Ever since like we approached this all-time high level, we just haven't stopped going up. We hit a new high today of 650. And this happened within recent hours as we speak. Current price is 631. Very overbought, 85 RSI. Deserved rise, honestly. Congrats for Monero. I was watching more videos from John McAfee and he was like, dude, Bitcoin is garbage, man. He was saying this back in, what year would it have been? 2017. Saying stuff like, yeah, like, on the dark web, nobody is using Bitcoin anymore. If you want to transact, you got to use Monero, right? He was saying stuff like you can't do stuff with a smart contract, decentralized applications, or something like that. He was just saying that Monero was much better. I was also reading another post on the history of it, right? It has no real founders, basically stuff that it said. It's all community driven, governance, all that kind of stuff done by community. Some web developers who remained anonymous did continue working on it, of course, as an open source project. Monero just seems to be great right now, especially with Zcash's downfall. Very, very strong, of course. So, yeah, that's what you got from Monero. Hello, Justinverse, welcome. I want to see where it is in the market cap list. We're at number 12 right now. We just passed Chainlink. Chainlink has 9 billion. We're at 11 billion. Yesterday, this was at a 10 billion market cap, so we just added another billion to the market cap of Monero here. Bitcoin Cash is next. That's at 12.4 billion. We're at 11.6 currently. It's not too far off. Only another billion. Am I right? And come on, why are people even holding these? Cardano is pretty soon to be gone as well. 13.9 billion. Monero can absolutely hit top 10 soon. And I can't wait to witness that happen. Where would that even put the price? Let me find out. If we give Monero 14 billion market cap, and this is the price target that I'm going to give Monero, by the way. 14 billion market cap. That's 14 billion divided by the circulating supply, which is 18,440,000. We're expecting Monero to hit 760. Realistic much? Yeah, I think so. Hit resistance 3. By this week? No. But hey, maybe. I don't know. At the pace it's been going, like we just rose 26% like it's nothing. Why not rise another 15%? We'd hit that target that I'm estimating over here. Depends if privacy narrative still stays strong and Zcash continues to decay over here. It's got a 6.5 billion market cap. I forget whatever it was before. I'm sure it was around 6 billion still. So that market cap hasn't really changed for Zcash, but Monero is just being heavily talked about a lot more. Up 8%, almost 9% today. Still making all-time highs. Lovely. Good stuff from Monero. 9%. Sui is down 3%, although it doesn't really look like it. It just looks like a flat line over here. 176 is the current price. Good area of accumulation between 167 and 172. No laughing at 6-7 jokes in 2026. That's all I could really say for that. Hyperliquid didn't really do what I wanted. I got a little greedy, I guess. I could have taken profits over here. How did I not know that that was going to be the reversal point? Well, I'm not a magician, okay? I'm not a wizard. So I was smart enough to rise my stop loss to break-even territory, meaning that I didn't lose money. And this drop would have absolutely hit my stop loss and made me lose $50 in this instance. So I actually ended up losing nothing, which means that was a W stop loss. But L, because I didn't take the profit, it was okay profit. It was more like a 1 to 1.5 risk-reward ratio at this height. Or maybe 2, I don't know. I was aiming for a 3, 1 to 3 risk-reward ratio, but it didn't hit. So Hyperliquid, yes, officially flipped its trend toward the downside now, meaning that we should not expect this thing to continue rising, at least not for the remainder of this week. I'd give it some time to resettle, right? Let me look at this in a weekly chart. I've got to regather my thoughts over here. So we do have this downtrend line to worry about mainly. That's far in the future though, and you'd look at that when we approach $30 for Hyperliquid. And the daily chart. What do we even look at over here? Probably from this high. I'll look at the 4-hour chart if we're looking at this high. It's actually very far away. Downtrend line is sort of looking like this. That matches. Just want to make sure I got this right. That level. Okay. And this is the downtrend line that we're looking at for Hyperliquid currently. Alright, so that means of course we're looking at 25 and 50 to be our resistance for now. If we continue our drop, we can hit the support level at 22.66, which we talked about yesterday. Yeah. Short position here? Not yet, in my opinion. I don't know. We got to look at 15-minute charts. If it does become overbought and exits overbought area, territory, then you would want to, you know, short. So another rise like this, kind of like that, you could, if you really want to, put a short position like that. And I said 22.66, right, as a target. That'll take you around here with a good 1 to 2 risk-reward ratio, potentially. So that's up to you. Maybe if I do see this play out like that, I might do it. And you, like I've already mentioned, I'm already short on Zcash. I was looking for Zcash up here. I'm like, where did it go? No, here it is. This is my short position on Zcash, and this is in the 15-minute chart. I decided to go short right over here. It immediately went against me, but seems like we're kind of seeing some green numbers at last, green being good when price drops. So, yes, I'm expecting Zcash to continue its downfall. But you think this thing is going to recover? I don't think it will. Monero is eating its lunch, so Zcash will continue to suffer for the time being. I entered at this 400 level almost, right? My average entry is $398.80. I put a stop loss right above this pivot level, a high also that we were not able to fully break. A level at $425 is my stop loss. I used 1 to 3 risk reward ratio that would approach our next support level, which happens to be around 320. All levels that I've talked about yesterday. So this trade looks very perfect. If you want to copy it, don't copy it, but here it is. You could literally do it and it would still work out 1-to-1 based off of my vision. As you saw my previous trades, I'm really bad, so don't copy my trades. You're gonna lose money with me. Unless you don't, and maybe that's why you watch me. I don't know. But yeah, this is my vision of the market for now, for Zcash at least, especially given all the FUD that we're... I say FUD, it's just geopolitical stuff that's going on. Uncertainty with Jerome Powell, you know, Fed independence, all this kind of stuff. Oh no, so scary. Yeah, big concern. I'm fine with it. I don't care. The stuff with Iran that is going on, potential delays in the Clarity Act that we're looking at. We don't know what the Supreme Court decision is going to be. We don't know what Machado, what Delcy are going to talk about when they visit Trump this week. Huge week. We don't know what the economic data is going to be like. But I wouldn't fully bet Zcash toward the downside, and that's mainly due to its Bitcoin tokenomics as well. It does have this anti-inflationary mechanism toward it, right? Hedge against inflation similar to Bitcoin. 21 million max supply. That should, in theory, in the very long term, allow Zcash to not be in a perpetual downfall forever. Something like we've seen, I don't know, Aptos, Sui, Polygon, Polkadot, all these other coins that have very inflationary characteristics where they just seem to be going down and down forever. I think Zcash, if it doesn't like gradually rise over time, it'll at least maintain itself stable, right? I just don't think the demand is going to be there to keep up with it now that the devs have all quit. So there's not really much to expect for Zcash over here. Hence why I'm shorting in the short term. Good. That's all I think about it. Moving on, Chainlink is doing absolutely nothing. Is this real? Did I trade Chainlink? That's not real. I did not touch Chainlink, and I have video evidence that I never did. There we go. It's just delayed trade markings. I don't know why it's pointing it there though. That's weird. Support level for chain link would be at 1273. Good area of accumulation above 1260, between 1273 and 1260. If you do believe the uptrend will continue, of course, for it. Are we seeing early signs of a potential downtrend? Maybe. I don't think so, honestly. I think we can continue, break this downtrend and have a good rise on Chainlink. First of all, it's really undervalued still. Even at $13, this thing should be worth at least $20. That would put you all the way up there. We obviously have a very important resistance at 15, so breaking whatever downtrend should take us to 15, retest a bounce from over here before we can continue higher. So a movement sort of like, well, first of all, given whatever's going on this week, I would expect a drop like that. Then next week we rise up to here, retest the uptrend, and then take me to $20 on Chainlink. Is my hopeful vision on this. That's what I like to see. BitTensor not moving at all. It says it's down 3%. It really looks like it didn't move an inch. But whatever, it's doing its thing. Sorry. Back to Chainlink, I didn't mention the price. It's $13.13. Same price as yesterday, honestly. Okay, back to BitTensor. 280 is the current price. I want it to drop to between 258 and 263 to start accumulating. Then we can test the $300 level. Do we have downtrends with BitTensor? Yes, we absolutely do, and I just have not drawn them, so I think I will. Oh, I think I have drawn them. It's just really far away. Meaning that we've got good potential to rise on BitTensor. This is like really long term though. And this would be even more long term if I was to draw this downtrend. Is this even valid? This comes from 24. Year 24. Let me go in the daily chart here. Resistance levels are still valid. These are from Fibonacci. So we're currently hovering around one right now, the 284. After we break 300, we're going to 333, of course. I really don't see another downtrend from here, right? So I don't think BitTensor should have any issues. It's only the resistance levels that would get in our way. But that's just to kind of give us like our little waves of, us taking breaks, sort of like a movement like this before we eventually reach this downtrend line. Then we can start facing problems. But by then, I would expect BitTensor to already be 400 plus. So we've got a good rise set for BitTensor, given that all things go well and nothing is bad in the planet. And things are always bad on the planet. So you make of that whatever you will. I'm thirsty today. Okay, so that's what I think about BitTensor. Hard to draw a downtrend, meaning that uptrend is absolutely justified at this point. And if we ever do get a downtrend, it's going to be like a very steep one like this, which would make sense, kind of. No, not really. It wouldn't really make sense. So I do have full confidence that a bounce at 258 to 263 should be feasible. Aptos, we already had early signs of a trend change, so we do officially have a downtrend line for Aptos. It's due to the fact that I missed this downtrend line, so we are respecting that one first, meaning that this one is gone for now. How low can we go? 167. Don't laugh. That's what I expect, at least for this week. I don't know, worst case scenario can take us to 157. And then, of course, we've got a bottom, local bottom at 141. Isn't this all-time low? That is all-time low. So 141, 140, all-time low for Aptos. I don't think we're going to go that low. But hey, Aptos likes to surprise me in both ways. So let's hope for the best, of course, for it. That's all I have for our crypto news. Not really crypto news, sorry, technical analysis. Crypto news is separate. That goes toward the end of the stream. Is anything really rising? Let's have a look at RSI heat map. Log in. I'm not logging in, pal. Monero, we saw that. Litecoin, of course, oversold. As soon as I go long on Litecoin, let me show you the trade I did. This is how stupid it is. I went long right over here. Okay, so ignore the red stuff. I saw this and I decided to go long, putting a stop loss below whatever this uptrend line was. I would have assumed this would have been a perfect entry if we were to continue the uptrend line. Sure, I should have noticed that this was kind of breaking, but I was hoping that we would like retest and continue higher. But no, it decided to just immediately go against me and go much lower. So we're at an oversold level 4 Litecoin. If you do like Litecoin and want to hold it on spot, great area of accumulation is now at 4-hour oversold. So there you go. Plasma is making possibly new lows. Wouldn't surprise me. Remember that. $0 USDT transfers is at 15 cents. Plasma. Its all-time low was at 11 cents. That's not bad. We're just starting a new downtrend here. It's had a decent recovery from there to there, regardless of what you believe in the project. It had an 86% rise. That's not too bad. In these market conditions, it's doing fine. But, I mean, this downtrend is something that you will have to pay attention to. I might short. Very much might short. How do you even draw a downtrend line on this? You can't. A very inflationary coin too, by the way. I'm not going to short right now. I'd wait for price to kind of like come up a little bit, maybe 17 something, 17 cents. Then you can, you know, find a local top there, put a stop loss above that, go short, and you'll hopefully make some decent money. What else we got? These are irrelevant. Chile's irrelevant. Gold all-time high. Potentially. I have not looked at gold. What do we got? I'm assuming oil should be on the rise too. Barely, but we're trying. This is a weekly chart. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, give me the super trend. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Max long oil if you think Iran is going to go to war. So there's that, and gold should also be on the rise. Yeah, no surprise. Is this an all-time high? It actually is. Okay, well, there you go. Against all odds, 4,630 all-time high for gold. Since when? Since this morning. Okay, well, there you go. Current price of gold is 4,584, but uptrend is very, very strong on gold, so you're still hitting all-time highs. I wonder if silver is doing anything. XAG, silver. I think that is also still making all-time highs. $86.24 is the all-time high for silver. So those are still doing really well. Current price is $84.31. Well, there you go. This is the stuff that happens during wars, or when people expect wars to happen. Awesome. This is what's currently going on. Protests reportedly still continuing in Tehran. Yeah, big surprise. I know we've been talking about it all week. Despite the protesters being killed, and the internet being down for over 100 hours now, crowds are chanting, "Death to the dictator." Okay. If you've been living under a rock, this is what's happening. Not Iraq, the country, a rock, okay? I know we're talking about Iran. I ran away from home. I ran away from this discussion. Let's get ahead into the news here. Trump briefed on Iran options, including psychological warfare and non-kinetic strikes. His red line on Friday was that if the Iranian government begins killing people, like they have in the past, we would get involved. It was the warning that he issued to them, right? He said we will be hitting them very hard where it hurts. He clarified that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it does mean hitting them very, very hard. Okay, so what does that mean then? A senior U.S. official confirmed Trump received military options over the weekend, and he will get additional options tomorrow. It explains the whole Pentagon busyness that we have been hearing about, the pizza stuff, which I have more news on later, all this preparation for potential war, right? Military force. No forces have moved yet, but capabilities include cyber attacks and other non-kinetic tools. What are you going to cyber attack? Their whole servers are shut down. There's nothing to cyber attack. They have to rely on Starlink right now to get any videos out there in the world for us to see. Hey Dean, look at HSI and Nikkei, they're going up. Let's see. Nikkei, that's Japan, right? Yeah, that is also all-time highs. Everything is all-time high but crypto. Okay, lovely. And Hang Seng Index, yes. Also at a very high point, indeed, 27,131. Not necessarily all-time high just yet, but that's very soon about to happen. We've got a lot of strength over here. Yep. Would it be a good indicator to be bullish on Bitcoin? Potentially. But we're noticing like this decoupling coming from indices now, right? I don't know how S&P 500 is doing. I'll have a look at it now. But we're making all-time highs on this too. And I'm assuming same with NASDAQ, US 100. Oh, not necessarily there yet. Well, tech stocks have currently got this thing going on. We've got this post about Trump talking about AI that I'll get into. That might be slowing things down a little. But the main thing you got to look for is the Russell 2000, which we've looked at. Small caps, right? This is the better indicator of how crypto should follow. The fact that this is also still hitting all-time highs, 2,638, it should indicate like, yeah, people are willing to buy risky stuff right now. That would include crypto. But they're not, for whatever reason. Yeah, sure, we did get a decent rally over here. Not even that well, but there's no downtrends to worry about. Only thing we got to worry about is resistance levels, main one at 100K. Then, yeah, we should expect some money to start flowing into crypto, but it's not, for whatever reason. Part of it, in my opinion, seems to be manipulation. We get these big drops at 10 a.m. is what we have seen. And there is other uncertainty when it comes to like this Iran stuff, but other markets are not reacting that way. We're seeing stock markets hit all-time highs. And I mean, precious metals to be hitting all-time highs, that's normal during this case as well. Being in a position before CPI, is that foolish? Not necessarily. It's a 50-50 thing and it could work out in your favor. Just make sure you've got like a good stop loss, of course. Trueflation says inflation is going down. I've looked at that too, yeah. But hot CPI would bring it down. Yeah. Let me see. Consumer price index. What are we even expecting? Where do I have it? So, okay, with inflation rate itself, let's see. They're expecting it to be like at 2.7, but Trueflation says it's somewhere close to that 2% target, right? So maybe it does come in, it comes in favorable for markets, meaning that inflation is on its way down or lower than expected. This would obviously give more chances for us to see rate cuts in the market, which would be bullish for risky assets, for the small businesses like the Russell 2000, for the stock market itself, and for crypto, and even for commodities. Everything should be going up. Anything that goes against the US dollar should be going up. Any chances of getting rate cuts weakens the dollar index, meaning that anything else that goes against the US dollar should be on the rise. Yeah, but if it comes in a little too high, that's not going to be good. It would give us some bearish impact on the markets. But we could also, we're still waiting for other stuff to come out, PPI. And then the week after that, I'm pretty sure we're getting like PCE data. January 21st, here it is. January 22nd, PCE data as well. This is the Fed's preferred inflation metric that I would pay most attention to. These are great indicators and they do bring volatility nonetheless to the market. So PPI and CPI, it's coming out tomorrow and day after. But also don't forget PCE. And then right after that, the week after, is the Fed interest rate decision, which, if I'm not mistaken, at this point, it's like a 99% chance we're not getting a rate cut. 15 days from now. Come on, give me the numbers. I'm sure it's high, like 90 something. Want me to lock in a response? 96.2, let's just say. Let's see what we got. Please load. There we go. I can't read this. Flashbang. 95.6. Okay, I was close enough, okay. I was 0.5% off. They pushed the Supreme Court stuff out till June. Allegedly. We'll look at that too. I do have an article talking about that. So we'll get into that for sure. And if they do that, I'm still willing to give them a pass if they do get it done by June, so long as it doesn't get delayed to something absurd like 2027. That's all I'm going to say about it. But we'll look at that in more detail soon. On Iran here, seems like the Iran's parliament speaker responded with threats, warning that U.S. military bases and Israeli territory would become legitimate targets if the strikes occur, so we're expecting a retaliatory attack from Iran, meaning basically all-out war at this point. Administration approved Elon's decision to make Starlink available in Iran, so this was also, approved by the United States government as well, to help the people of Iran by using Elon Musk to send them Starlink, which we did see, Trump talk about this in the audio on the plane when he was answering questions of the reporters, being like, yep, we're going to call up Elon and make sure that the people in Iran have enough internet access through Starlink. Even the Iranian regime has been trying to jam the signals of Starlink to prevent this kind of stuff from going out. So far, we've got at least, the numbers vary all the time. It says 538 dead, 10,600 arrested. The protests are entering their third week with no signs of slowing down. Okay, remember the numbers, 538 dead. Then you got this report saying there's 7,000 Iranian civilians that have been killed by the regime in the last few days. So not even the last 3 weeks. So those numbers don't add up. But anyway, we also have, this looming in the background. U.S. officials are saying that the planning for military options against Iran have reached advanced stages, whatever that means. We're also, putting on a nice show for them by flying our stuff around. Trump keeping Iran guessing. Military options are on the table, but Tehran is asking to talk. Maybe this is all a show, like I said, to get Iran to the table to, I don't know, maybe peacefully have the regime change. It seems like a regime change is inevitable in Iran at this point. The damage has already been done, so it's about to happen soon. Trump is reportedly tilting toward punishing the regime for slaughtering protesters, but no final call has been made. He is also eyeing Iranian fleers for negotiations. The National Security Team huddles tomorrow to present the full options menu, while protests rage across more than 100 cities and the death toll keeps on climbing. The regime doesn't know if they're about to get hit or handed a lifeline. And that's uncertain. That uncertainty is the point. We don't like uncertainty either, but yeah. Trump is leaning toward Iran strikes, but maybe JD Vance is pushing for diplomacy. We might get a final decision tomorrow. I hope so. Just get it over with. If we're going to bomb Iran, just do it. Nuke our portfolios, let us buy cheap, and then recover, and as if nothing happened. And we free the Iranians from that regime, if that's what the people want. Nobody knows what Trump is going to do except Trump, and that's exactly how he wants it. The president is currently leaning toward authorizing military strikes on Iran, but Vice President Vance is leading an effort to try diplomacy first. Iran's foreign minister confirmed he contacted U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff over the weekend. They're seeking talks and said that Tehran is ready for negotiations, but they're also fully prepared for war. Okay, so which is it? Trump meets with senior aides tomorrow to make the call. Okay, great, finally. Iran's facing its biggest uprising in years. Proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah are degraded, and the economy is in freefall. We'll talk about their currency soon. It's in shambles. Yes, and that would absolutely crash the market if we do go to war. If it's negotiations, it's a peaceful transfer of power. Iran changes the flag and they appoint whatever the prince guy name was. Then it seems like there will be no issues. But I don't know. I think it's going to be an all-out war. Some aides worry strikes could fuel regime propaganda that the US and Israel are behind the protests. I mean, it's kind of obvious at this point that they kind of are. Tehran's public threats and private messages are telling two different stories. Trump seems interested in finding out which is real. Okay. We also got this, bit concerning, or maybe another flex, a show of power, I don't know what you want to call it. After meeting with President Trump today, Marco Rubio's State Department tells American citizens to immediately leave Iran as the major anti-regime protests continue. So we do have it now. The US have ordered all Americans to leave Iran immediately. Airlines are canceling flights until January 16. The internet and phone networks are restricted. Americans advised to exit by land through Armenia or Turkey, any one of those two countries. Trump says that Iran called him, wanting to negotiate, but we may have to act before the meeting. Okay, I don't know what the point of saying that is. Maybe to just get things going faster, pressure, urgency, I guess. Department of War, not Department of Defense. Did I say Department of Defense? Oh, wait. Was ISS inevitable? Department of War, not Department of Defense. Yeah, it is going to be crazy. So, all eyes are peeled. And people are obviously, we're about to talk about Parlor Market again. People are betting on it like crazy. The weird meters are screaming. The pizza index, which we've talked about. If you don't know what it is, it's the pizza places around... Okay, why are we talking about gay bars? Can we go back? Here, pizza. So, these are pizza restaurants, I guess, that are nearby the Pentagon, the place where people plan for war. They're at busy times, meaning that they've got a lot of people at the Pentagon and they're just ordering pizza while they're deciding how they're going to attack Iran. We've seen this before. It's still going on, so tensions are high there. Pizza index spiked as high as 1,000% today. I'm not reading each one. I don't know what's up with the gay bars. Gay bar index? Okay, they're down apparently. Whatever that means. Trump says that there will be 25% tariffs on anyone helping Iran. Ambassadors are being rushed out. Well, spoiler alert, I was about to talk about that. And Polymarket just printed a new all-time high on will the US strike Iran by January 31st? 55% chance that happens. Highest percent chance that happens by June 30th. This seems to be the safest bet. I still don't know if I want to bet on this. Even if I do, like go for June 30th, let's say. It's the safest bet if you do believe that they will have a strike, but you just don't know when that's going to happen. You could bet for June 30th. You'd make an okay return. But a lot of people I'm seeing are betting by January 31st, and potential insiders are. So if you do that, the payout is obviously higher. You make $561 with $300 instead of making $435 with the same $300 by betting on June versus January 31st. So tonight might get loud. The US has ordered its citizens to leave Iran now, have a plan for departing Iran that does not rely on the US government's help. Trump is reportedly deciding on military action tomorrow. We shall see. We have a White House insider wallet, a confirmed insider wallet, by the way, that just became active on Polymarket. Placed a $10,000 bet 3 hours ago about Khamenei out as supreme leader of Iran by January 31st. This is the link for... Oh, this is the guy betting on it. Oh, he's losing a lot of money here. It was a $10,000 bet, though, so he's losing $766. It's not too bad. Do we bet in favor with this guy? Hey, if this guy's going down with 10,000... Oh, I'm logged out. I could just go back in with 300. No big deal. Iran internet blackout since January 8. Connectivity dropped to 2% of normal. Massive nationwide protests. Khamenei in most vulnerable position that he has been in 37 years. We've seen this move before. The same insider has bet 32,000, so even more, on Maduro's removal. And 5 hours later, the US raided Venezuela and Maduro was captured. This is the guy that made $400,000 in that trade. So... yeah. Imagine this Khamenei betting against himself. Yeah, but with $10,000, like, come on. I would bet $1 million on my own downfall, and I'd get rich. So this is the tariff situation. It seems like, since the Supreme Court hasn't really made their decision on, is Trump tariffs illegal? Trump is just taking advantage of it as much as he can before the week is up. The decision is supposed to be done by this week, which we'll talk about. So he's just going to go ahead and put a tariff on anybody that does negotiations with Iran. Trump just announced 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran, effective immediately. Official trade data shows that, guess who's the biggest partner? China. China is the largest trading partner of Iran. They dominate their bilateral economic relationship. I heard it's something like 30% of the trade volume comes from China with Iran. That means markets will interpret this as a threat to China's trade footing if enforced, not just a Middle East policy headline. It's going to happen again. Okay, so it's like we're indirectly putting a tariff on China. Again. Remember last time, if you got the same PTSD that I do, when we announced a 100% tariff on China on the evening of October 10, well, we tanked about 90% on quite literally everything. So far, today, I mean, on a 25% tariff, what's 25% of 90%? Almost 20%, I guess. We did not drop 20% today. Nobody cared. Markets are normal as usual, and I mean, we still even have Monero hitting all-time highs, for example. So we kind of understand that crypto has nothing to do with tariffs. Whatever happens with like tariffs geopolitically, whatever the case is, it has nothing to do with it. So why did we crash that huge amount on October 10? That was on a Friday evening, so okay, we couldn't punish the stock market. The only thing that's open is the crypto market, and I mean, really, it just seems like it was a huge excuse to kind of liquidate everybody. And well, congratulations, you done it. You ruined all season, and you made everyone believe that the 4-year cycle is broken, which it kind of is now. So congrats. But I mean, this time around, we're not getting that same reaction. At least not even part of it. Yeah, sure, Bitcoin isn't rising, but we're still, high. Well, not really high, but, compared to recent times, right? We're not at 84,000 or something. We're at 91. We're perfectly stable, is what I'm trying to say. We didn't have a huge crash like we saw on October 10. So what is going on? This means the market would interpret this as a threat to China's trade footing. I just read that. Pair that with the Supreme Court ruling this week on Trump's tariff authority, and this headline goes from talk to real macro risk overnight. Maybe this is what people are thinking. Maybe people think, but tariffs are going to be ruled as illegal this same week either way. So whatever Trump just announced over here is about to get reversed by the Supreme Court. I don't believe so, but I mean, 70% of the people are betting against what I believe right now, at least according to the play market odds, I think. What is the Supreme Court rules in favor of Trump? Yeah, I'm like the 27% over here versus the 73% that is against me right now. If the court backs Trump, so if they go in favor with what I believe, tariffs will become a live policy tool again. Global trade risks reprices. China becomes an actual target and not a subtext. Maybe getting this thing approved, whenever it's going to happen, sometime this week, that is going to cause an initial shock to the markets toward the downside. This is going to bring negative volatility toward the market, potentially. But I do believe over the long term, and I've always believed this, is that tariffs will be good for the country, for America, because Trump can use it to his advantage to get people to the table. Quite literally this. He's putting a tariff on Iran to try to get them to the table, negotiate, stop whatever killing is going on, the protests, get a regime change done. We just made this country do whatever we want without using any military action. We just use tariffs. We pressured them economically. And Iran is under severe economic pressure at this point. Especially because of this. Iran's currency has officially collapsed to basically $0. 1 Iranian rial is worth 0 euros. Yeah, it's worth something, like 0.0000, like, okay, come on. We're going to need a lot of rials to equate a penny of euros, basically. Their economy is not good, and this is part of the reason why the people have united against the whole regime. It's not even for religious purposes, allegedly, right? We're just hearing that it's because of the economic stuff. Nobody is satisfied with the economy, so they're revolting against the government for it. Everybody's poor. Iran's money just hit 0 against the euro. The Iranian Rial is now literally worth $0 when you try to exchange it for euros. Not 1 cent, not half a penny, just zero. Basically worse than Pepe or Shiba Inu or your favorite meme coin. It's a clear indication that shows the end of a regime where the fall of its currency reflects its systemic instability. Nobody believes in the currency. And also hyperinflation, I guess. The Iranian Rial hasn't technically hit zero. Functionally, it has. Yeah. Sanctions, runaway inflation, chronic mismanagement, and nationwide unrest have turned the Rial into a rounding error. Prices reset weekly, savings evaporate, currency now measures despair more than value. When money stops working, everything else follows. So, are we going to buy the dip? That's a beautiful comment. No, do not buy that dip. Okay, Supreme Court. Since we were on the subject on it recently, President Trump says that the U.S. would have to pay back trillions of dollars if the Supreme Court rules that his tariffs are illegal. Okay, that's an exaggeration. We did the math. It's only $200 billion, I think, because that's the amount of money we have taken in from other countries thanks to tariffs. So we posted this on Truth Social saying the actual numbers that we would have to pay back for any reason, if for any reason the Supreme Court were to rule against the United States of America on tariffs, there's a 70% chance that they will do that, by the way, rule against you. It would be many hundreds of billions of dollars. That doesn't include the amount of payback that countries and companies would require for the investments they are making on building plants, factories, and equipment for the purpose of being able to avoid the payment of tariffs. I guess that's where he's getting the trillions of dollars from, because he's right about the hundreds of billions. Yes, it's $200 billion, but what about all the companies that are investing in the United States, that are bringing their factories over here and making everything in the United States to avoid tariffs, right? They're going to be like, oh, but tariffs are not going to be a thing, so I'm just going to take my factories back to India and have these Indian workers make it for a lot cheaper. And I don't got to worry about, getting tariffed 30% on aluminum or something stupid. I don't know. So that's going to be a whole separate issue. Things will just go back to where they were before Trump has started announcing all these tariffs. February 2nd is when we got the initial spook of 2025. When these investments are added, we are talking about trillions of dollars, which, yeah, you kind of are. It would be a complete mess and almost impossible for our country to pay. I don't think we're going to have to pay that. It's just that the money is no longer going to be here. The money is already here. It's not like they've paid you and you've already spent it and then you've got to be like, oh, I got to pay them all back now so that they can leave. No, I don't think that's going to be the case. As the investment that was coming in here is suddenly not going to be here anymore. So you're losing investment. Anybody who says that it can be quickly and easily done would be making a false, inaccurate, or totally misunderstood answer to this very large and complex question. It may not be possible, but if it were, it would be dollars that would be so large that it would take many years to figure out what number we are talking about and even who, when, and where to pay. Remember, when America shines brightly, the world shines brightly. In other words, if the Supreme Court rules against the United States of America on this national security bonanza, we're screwed. I love that. Funny. We will also no longer be getting our tariff dividend, which should upset some people and would ruin the midterms. Trump is trying to buy your vote with a stimulus check of $2,000 before midterms, of course. And if the Supreme Court rules against the tariffs, you're not getting that $2,000 paycheck. So enjoy staying broke. It's not anybody's decision other than the Supreme Court, so it's out of our control. We're just mere speculators. This is the other post about AI and energy that Trump has posted. Let's talk about it here. Under sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats, the average American household's monthly utility bills went up massively, over 30%. I never want Americans to pay higher electricity bills because of data centers. Of course, my administration is working with major American technology companies to secure their commitment to the American people, and we will have much to announce in the coming weeks. First up is Microsoft, who my team has been working with, and which will make major changes beginning this week to ensure that Americans don't pick up the tab for their power consumption in the form of paying higher utility bills. This means that all these big companies with AI and how popular it is and the data centers and servers and everything that they have to cover the cost for, there's a lot of energy being consumed with that. Let's not even talk about Bitcoin mining, God forbid. But it seems like now they're planning to do something to, because that's just also rolling off and making American household people pay for higher utility bills, right? So to lower the cost of that, says we are the hottest country in the world, #1 in AI. Data centers are key to that boom and keeping Americans free and secure, but big technology companies who build them must pay their own way. Thank you and congratulations to Microsoft, I guess, for making the first move. What do you think is going to happen? I think we're going to start investing in nuclear energy. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest gainers for, if not this year, sometime in the upcoming years. That, and I mean, what are people going to do when we get bored of AI? We're going to start investing in quantum computing. Who's going to make the best computer? Oh, now China's making a good computer. We got to outpace them. We cannot let China win the quantum computer race. There's many races that are going on, right? Arms race, the AI race, the crypto race, and quantum computing race. Maybe space race would happen eventually. Which country is going to be the best at making whatever it is, right? It seems like crypto is just like not on their priority list right now, which fair enough. I did have another post. I guess I could pull it up now. Here we go. Viewership of cryptocurrency related content on YouTube has dropped to its lowest level since January 2021. Not even the retail traders are interested. So if you're watching this video, you're in the top 1% that actually cares about crypto. And congratulations, so do I. It's on YouTube, its viewership has dropped down here. I don't plan on leaving. I plan on staying here and continuing to do this because consistency will just eventually make me rich, right? I think that's something that some billionaire must have said at some point. Anyways, speaking of billionaires, MicroStrategy has acquired 13,627 bitcoins yesterday, or at least reported yesterday, for $1.25 billion at an average price of $91,519. Guys, Michael Saylor is buying Bitcoin more expensive than what you're seeing the price right now. First of all, $1 billion, thank you. Finally, a good number. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. This reminds me of the good old Michael Saylor of 2024, buying billions at a time. Well, now Michael's strategy has 687,410 bitcoins. Average price is 75,353. And then Peter Schiff obviously has to comment on this. Where did you get the money to buy all that Bitcoin? Since MicroStrategy trades at a discount to the Bitcoin it owns, the more Bitcoin you buy, the more MicroStrategy share price should fall. He's basically saying, like, the MNAV is at less than 1x. You're basically shooting yourself in the foot. You're making your company poorer by buying more Bitcoin, is what Peter Schiff is technically trying to say. But we don't gotta listen to the guy. I mean, he's rejoicing still with gold, still making all-time highs. Sure. But I'm sure Bitcoin will still do well. Fidelity even thinks Bitcoin may be entering a super cycle. Yeah. Sure, dude. What's my favorite coin other than Bitcoin? That's a good question. I don't like Ethereum. I do like Solana, but then I also like Sui. Even though I've lost a lot on Sui. I do like Hyper. All these over here that you see at the top, I do like all these coins, except for maybe Ethereum. I want to kick it out as soon as I can, but I'm just keeping it there because it's... unfortunately, it's a relevant coin. That's the way to put it. Favorite coin. I'm really liking Monero recently. But if I had to pick one, I'll go with Solana. Solana is my favorite coin. Other than Bitcoin, of course. That's what I would say. Alright, let's talk about SEC Chair Paul Atkins. He's been bull posting and bull commenting all throughout this week so far. He posted, he said this, that the top priority of the Securities Exchange Commission is to bring crypto markets out of the regulatory gray zone. All of this is in anticipation for this market structure bill that we were supposed to expect this week. Trillions will flow into crypto? Hey, eventually, maybe. Don't get your hopes up. He went on Fox Business Live and talked about it as well, saying Congress could finally clear crypto rules. Bipartisan laws will protect investors and make the U.S. the crypto capital. It's all happening. Okay, great. But we also had this come out, and I don't know how related it is. The U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee has postponed the crypto market structure bill markup to the last week of January, citing need for more time to maintain bipartisan support. And then we also have this. I'm going to read it in order. In order. I think this is in order. Punting its markup on crypto market structure bill to the last week of January instead of holding it as originally planned on Thursday at the same time as the Senate Banking Committee. So these are two different departments that will be voting for the same thing. The agriculture one, Senate AG, is it this? Yeah, U.S. Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry. I don't know what agriculture, nutrition, and forestry has to do with cryptocurrency. Followed by Sam Bankman-Fried. How is this only followed by Sam Bankman-Fried? Am I dreaming? I mean, they only posted nothing once in 2015. Oh. This one. This is the official one, I guess. Sure, whatever. I'll follow it. This is funny. I'll follow it. Look, cool. Me and Sam Bankman-Fried follow this obscure account. So it seems like this thing is going to be delayed at least by one of the departments. What is the other one? The Senate Banking Committee will still vote on it on Thursday. So there's that still going on. And we're also potentially facing another government shutdown. Best case is we get this signed into law in the summer. Worst case is we don't get it all the year. Democrats take the Senate in the midterms, and then we won't have another shot until after 2029, after, I don't know, J.D. Vance gets elected. It's going to be terrible. But we'll see. Did they say anything important here? To finalize, additional time is needed before moving to markup. The committee will mark up this legislation during the last week of January. Okay, so partial delay on this bill. Well, now we know why it was delayed. They haven't even bothered to read it yet. Apparently, this guy says that the Senate Banking GOP has handed off a much-anticipated new crypto market structure bill draft to the Senate Democrats. They will be meeting in a few minutes to discuss the text, a Senate source confirmed to him. The Democrats are scrambling to read the bill and find out what's inside. Less than 3 days until the markup and counting. Yeah, so we're putting the partial blame on the Democrats. They're not even prepared. They don't even know what it's about, and they have only 3 days to read this Bible of a bill, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Seems like people are saying, oh, it's the Democrats' fault. How are these people even in the position to make laws? But, I mean, it is a different committee, so fair enough. Half of it will get done by this week, sure. We had this late-night plea from the Democratic senators on the Banking Committee for a full hearing ahead of Thursday's markup. All these senators sent a letter to the banking GOP leadership criticizing the lack of text, expected to be well over 200 pages, just 2 days before the markup. Oh no, we gotta read 200 pages in 2 days. Calling the timeline inadequate for voting on the most significant law considered by the committee this century. Why did we wait until now? Note that all three have anti-crypto records. This is Chris Van Hollen, Tina Smith, and Senator Jack Reed. I'm exposing you all by name. And they're expected to vote no, regardless of whether a hearing happens or not. So we're just wasting our time here. Before the Christmas break, Senator John Kennedy sent a similar letter with Reed expressing his wish for a hearing to better understand the issues at hand. He didn't sign this latest missive, and it's unclear if he still feels the same way. Odd. We're ready to request a public hearing. That's it. We're requesting a public hearing. Nobody has seen anything resembling the text that will be marked up on Thursday. They haven't even read it. And we don't have enough time to prepare. Okay. All right. Thank you. Why is the Supreme Court trending? That's a different Supreme Court. Do you support our Supreme Court giving Donald Trump the power to use tariffs on other countries? If yes, gives it a thumbs up. If no, what? I hate these dumb engagement posts. Whatever. I fell for it. I literally clicked on it and just gave this guy money by looking at it. We're screwed. I love the highlighted text. We're screwed on the Supreme Court stuff. Okay, moving on from that. So that's the whole issue with the potential delay. Boring. But we're still at least getting it, part of it signed from one of the committees. Dubai has banned privacy tokens, and they are tightening their stablecoin rules as part of a broader reset of its crypto regulatory framework. So Dubai banning privacy tokens, they're scared of the Monero. They can't handle it. They see this and they quiver in fear. All right. Part of the reason why Monero is on the rise, allegedly, may be due to this. I'm going to read over here. So we know Tether is centralized. They can freeze assets at free will, and they've done so. They froze $182 million across 5 Tron wallets, holding between $12 to $50 million each, with no disclosed reason. Since 2023, this is a normal occurrence by Tether. They've frozen about $3.3 billion and have blacklisted 7,268 wallets, according to anti-money laundering bots. Good. Maybe. I mean, it's good to stop criminal activity, and if you're detecting that on-chain, you gotta do something about it. 182 million frozen by a centralized middleman. If your wealth has a freeze button, controlled by someone else, that means you're just renting money. It's not really your money. Tether blacklisting 7,000 wallets plus is the ultimate stress test for your OPSEC. This is why Monero is sitting at 600 plus today. People are finally realizing that fungibility and unfreezability aren't nice to haves. There are survival requirements. One is a permission, the other is protocol. Choose the hammer. This is something that John McAfee would say. You need freedom. You need your stuff to be encrypted. The government knows everything you do. Your phone is always tracking you, all this stuff. He was a big guy on privacy, right? The videos that I've been watching on John McAfee. And then he also proceeded to say, like, I mean, yeah, if you go to the dark web and you pay people to do stuff on the dark web, everybody's using Monero. It's 90% Monero. Nobody's using Bitcoin anymore as they once were at the beginning. Sure, when Bitcoin pioneered, everyone on the dark web was using Bitcoin. How old would I have been? I was too young to understand what a Bitcoin or the dark web was. I got an email. Dude, this would have been so long ago. I would have been grade 8, so I'd have been 13 years old. Yeah. I got an email saying that, oh, somebody has a suspicious video of me on my webcam doing stuff, and he's threatening to release it all to all my contacts and, releasing all my personal data on the dark web, unless I give him, I forget how much Bitcoins, 300 Bitcoins. At that time, I didn't even know what a Bitcoin was. I was too busy, playing Minecraft? So I just ignored the email. I wonder if I could pull it up. I wonder. Yeah, it's a bit questionable content. I don't know if I should share it. I'd have to remember my old email. This is like a really old, I was like at live.com type email. So this was with Hotmail. Let me look this up. You know what, I'm just going to do this in a private window because I don't know if I'm going to get my stuff hacked because I have not used that email in so long. I guess Hotmail doesn't even exist anymore, does it? You have to use Microsoft. Ugh, cringe. I'm using Outlook over here. Sign in. All right, let's see if I remember my credentials. What is my password? Was it even this email? I don't know. I made like 1 billion emails throughout my lifetime because I wanted free Minecraft accounts or something. I don't know. Password. Password. What would my password have been in 2017? Can't sign you in. You used an incorrect password too many times. Reset my password then? What are you going to ask me for? Recover my account. Okay. Live.com. That's crazy. Oh, it actually has my phone number. Okay, cool. Get code. Oh, my last 4 digits of my phone number. Okay. I'm doing this off screen. Because it's sensitive information. Okay, sure. If it matches, it'll send me a code. Hey, there we go. 428978. Password reset code. Okay, new password. What do I even do? Dude, what do I do? I guess I'll use this. I don't know. I hope I don't forget this password if I ever want to go back. Alright. Let's see. We're updating our terms. Don't care. Can we steal your data? Yes, you can. Don't continue. Set up my passkey. Ignore. Is your information? Yeah, sure. It looks good. Totally looks good. Stay signed in? No. Alright, let's go. I don't know how long ago this is going to be. I'm getting... It's a good thing I'm not sharing this. Oh, gosh. Goodness. Okay, I'm getting scam emails, like, all over the place. Can I delete this, please? Thank you. This is so crazy. I even have, old emails from old friends. Like, I'm talking about elementary school friends that I haven't talked to since I was in grade 6? Max? These are emails from 2016, dude. Alright. Delete all this. How do I do empty folder? Oh, that specific email, the reason why I'm here in the first place, I don't know if I have it. Conversation folder. Is it this one? Nope. I don't think I have it anymore. I was literally sending emails to my friends with the subject line being poo. Alright. 2014. You know where I did have it? I took a picture of it on my Snapchat and I uploaded it to my story. And I haven't used Snapchat since that long as well. Yeah, so I'm not going to find it here. Rest in peace. Whatever. Sorry, guys. Back to the stream. So, yeah, anyways, the scam email was asking me for Bitcoin. I didn't understand what it was. I wish I did. I would have been rich by now, but that's fine. I should have listened to the guy, but then given up on sending him. I would not have known how to send Bitcoin at that time. I didn't even have money, dude. I was in elementary school, but it was pretty funny getting that kind of email. Okay. Bottom line, buy Monero. We're still rising. That's crazy. Saudi Arabia discovers 7.8 million ounces of gold across 4 sites, adding more to the supply. How much more? I don't know. How much is an ounce of gold? This is money per ounce, so it's $4,600. $4,600 per ounce of gold. You multiply that by 7,800,000. It's about $35 billion that they just discovered. What do you do with this money, dude? I mean, congrats, you're suddenly $35 billion richer if you sell it right now. Anyways, what do I even talk about first? We'll talk about this first. Representative Brian Steele is proposing a new leadership-backed congressional stock trading bill. It would allow politicians to keep their stocks when they come into Congress. And they couldn't buy new stocks, and they could only sell positions after giving a week's notice. So basically a revamp to the whole, what do you call it? The Stock Trading Ban Act, the Pelosi Act, I don't know what you want to call it. I like the Pelosi Act, that was genius. So if you join Congress, if you had stocks before, you don't gotta sell or report it on it. You just gotta report when you sell it, but you're not allowed to buy stocks after that. That seems like a fair trade, maybe, because it would prevent insider trading, of course. So, I don't know if it'll pass, though. People are saying it's another bill that will get a bill that will get voted down, so no hopes for it. But still good intent nonetheless. Janet Yellen, what do we care about what this lady has to say? She says that the probe into Jerome Powell is extremely chilling for Federal Reserve independence, warning that markets should be concerned. Yeah, literally my post. We're so concerned right now. Nobody's concerned, dude. No one cares. If Jerome Powell leaves, we skyrocket. That's part of the reason why we were rising over the weekend. This rise over here. On Sunday evening, that's when the news came out. So yeah. Alright, that's about it. That's all the news I had for tonight. It's going to be a pretty crazy week this week. I won't be here tomorrow, so we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll talk about CPI, PPI data by then. We'll talk about the inevitable nuke that will drop on Iran or something. I don't know what's going to happen. Ayatollah is going to leave. And then we'll obviously prepare for what's coming up next. That market structure bill. I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. We're also going to expect Maria Corina Machado and Delcy Rodriguez to come to United States to talk with Trump about Venezuela stuff. Imagine we just capture them both and we just imprison them as well. Why can't we just do that to Delcy Rodriguez? She's literally stepping foot in the country. We can be like, aha, you're our territory now. You conspired with Maduro to traffic drugs, and we're taking even more over your oil now. And what is the seed phrase to all your bitcoins? The 600,000 bitcoins. Imagine that. By the way, no other developments came out from that. The 600,000 bitcoins that Venezuela allegedly has. Maybe that was all just mumbo jumbo invented by crypto Twitter to engagement farm. We don't know though. They might actually have that. Venezuela. Do we think they're smart? I don't know. They would surely take their country out of poverty with that kind of money. Would they? It's the same amount of money that MicroStrategy has. How much money is this again? 600,000 bitcoins times 91,200. That's not 91,200 times 600,000. It's $54 billion. It's about the same amount of money that Saudi Arabia has just discovered in gold suddenly. So Saudi Arabia is fine. I'm sure it wouldn't even make a dent in their GDP or something. I have no idea. So yeah, no big hopes for that. I don't know. Okay. So, the trades that I leave you guys with, all these were closed. If Bitcoin drops, I buy more. Zcash is the only short position open. I'm expecting this darn thing to drop. That's about it. Long positions potential with Solana if you get between this area, like I said. No hope for Sui. Hyperliquid if we rise to 25.50, you short. Chainlink if we drop to 1260 to 1270, you buy. You go max long. And BitTensor, I really don't know what to expect with BitTensor here. Maybe the drop starts happening soon. You buy between 260. And Aptos, what are we even doing with Aptos anymore? Maybe rise to 184, you short. Could potentially be the case. So we'll see. I'll keep my eye on it. Discord link is in the description if you want to see me do my trades in real time. I usually post them on time. So yeah, you could go check that out as well. That's it for tonight's stream, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you not tomorrow then on